This time, we are going to take a look at this runner as he runs for a bit less than an hour. To give a little context on him, he's dealing with some knee pain on the left leg as he runs lately. This time I will talk about some of his running mechanics and what he could do to decrease loading, particularly on the left knee. Then, go over things that I would change that I actually find more important in working with the knee pain. Now the first thing we will look at is the step rate. During this clip, he presented a step rate of 180 steps per minute. The reason we are looking at this is because slightly increasing preferred step rate by 5 to 10% may decrease stress on the left knee without a change in energy expenditure. However, in this case, he's already pretty much at a decent step rate, though he could still try increasing step rate slightly and see how that feels. Now the next thing we can look at is the foot strike. Compared to the right foot where he lands more so around the forefoot to midfoot area, he seems to land more on the midfoot to rear foot area with the left foot. This kind of landing with the left foot tends to bias more loads on the knee rather than the calf area when compared to the forefoot strike. With this in mind, I could try manipulating distribution of forces going through the leg by having him land more on the midfoot to forefoot area on the left foot too. Now another thing I tend to look at is foot positioning relative to the body. I want to look at this because overstriding, which is where you land too far in front of the body, could put increased stress on the knee and possibly irritate it. Now, while it may not be in the exact moment due to limitations in raw footage, he seems to present with a shin angle of 1 to 2 degrees during the landing. Based on this, I would not really consider him to be overstriding, so trying to directly change foot positioning may not be necessary. Also, he may land a little closer naturally with slightly increasing his step rate. Now, these are basically ways to change his running mechanics to decrease stress on the knee, which may decrease pain on it. However, changing this would not be my top priority. What I would want to work on first is load management. I would do this by changing his running intensity and frequency through the week. What to change this to exactly is very individualistic and would require more information and assessment to do so. Another thing to consider is the terrain. Trying to avoid hills may be beneficial, as running downhill may increase irritability on the knee. Now, one last thing I would consider is making sure he is recovering properly. This means getting enough sleep, hydrating enough, and eating right. This seems like ordinary strategies, but honestly, they are one of the most important ways to ensure adequate recovery and are underestimated by many people. Just a little side note is that if you are dealing with pain that limits you as you run, I'd recommend you consult with a physical therapist or healthcare professional specialized in dealing with it. And that's all I'll talk about in this breakdown. What did you guys think of the video? I'd love to hear your thoughts and anything else you would recommend for him to do.